A sunny afternoon in a bustling city park. Families are walking, kids are laughing, and the occasional jogger is passing by. Everything seems peaceful, until a pair of police officers notices a man walking calmly through the crowd. At first glance, he seems ordinary, just another person enjoying his day. But for some reason, the officers decide to confront him. They approach with a mix of arrogance and suspicion, their tone sharp and commanding. "Hey, stop right there. What are you doing here?" one officer demands. The man doesn't flinch. He turns slowly, looks them in the eye, and responds politely, "I'm just walking, officers." "Is there a problem?" The cops, ignoring his calm, begin asking more aggressive, unnecessary questions. They're convinced something about him is off, though there's nothing suspicious at all. Bystanders start to notice, glancing nervously. Some beginning to record on their phones. The air suddenly feels tense, charged, almost electric. You can sense that something big is about to happen, but nobody, not even the officers, knows just how big. The man's posture is relaxed, almost effortless, but his eyes show awareness and focus. Every word he speaks is calm, measured, yet firm enough to hold the space. The crowd starts whispering, some puzzled by the cop's behavior, others by the man's unshakable composure. You can feel the tension building like a storm hovering, waiting to break, and then comes the hook. What this man does next shocks everyone standing there, and leaves the officers completely unprepared. By now, the viewers are mentally leaning in. They're imagining themselves in this scenario, feeling the fear, the tension, the frustration, and the anticipation. They are emotionally invested, wanting to know how someone could remain so calm under the mounting aggression. Little do the cops know, the man they're confronting is not ordinary at all. He is a legend, someone whose name alone commands respect across the world. But at this moment, that truth is hidden, creating a suspenseful trap for both the audience and the officers alike. And here's the question dangling over the crowd, and over the viewers watching this video. Will he just take the abuse? Or is something about to happen that will leave everyone stunned? The situation is escalating. The cops are growing more aggressive, circling the man, trying to intimidate him, their voices rising. They don't know who they're dealing with, but their confidence makes them dangerous. The crowd around them senses the tension, and whispers ripple through the bystanders. Why is he being treated like this? Is this really necessary? Phones start appearing in hands. People instinctively start recording, capturing every moment. The man, however, remains calm. His posture is upright, his gaze steady. He answers politely but firmly, refusing to let the officers provoke him into anger or rash action. Every word is deliberate, every gesture controlled. There's a strange contrast. On one side, the officers radiate arrogance and aggression. On the other, this man radiates serenity and focus. The effect is magnetic. The crowd can't look away. One of the cops steps closer, invading personal space, trying to assert dominance. "You think you can just walk around here like that?" the officer demands, voice rising with frustration. The man doesn't flinch. He replies evenly, "I'm walking peacefully, officer. I haven't broken any rules." His calmness begins to make the officers uneasy. They're used to people reacting with fear or anger. Not him. Whispers start to circulate through the crowd, growing louder. Something is different about him. People are filming, posting, and sharing already. The tension is thick enough to be felt through the screen. Viewers watching this video are mentally leaning in, imagining themselves in the park. They feel the rising anxiety, the fear of the unknown, the suspense of a situation spiraling out of control. And then comes the engagement moment. The tension is unbearable, and the audience feels compelled to interact. The voiceover or narrator asks, "If you were here, What would you do? Would you stand up to the cops or walk away? And where are you watching this from? Drop your city or country in the comments right now. This creates a sense of participation. Viewers aren't just watching, they're becoming part of the story. Their imagination runs wild, picturing themselves standing in the middle of the crowd, feeling the heat of the situation, sensing the power struggle building before their eyes. Meanwhile, the officers, blinded by arrogance, continue to escalate. Their questions become accusatory, their gestures threatening. They lean in, trying to intimidate the man physically, but there's no fear in his eyes. The calmness, the self-control, the silent command of the space, it's unnerving. By now, the bystanders are fully invested. Some try to speak up, reminding the cops, "Hey, he hasn't done anything." Others whisper warnings to each other, but no one dares intervene directly. Everyone feels that something is about to happen, a moment that could flip everything upside down. And then the video pauses, just enough to trap the audience mentally. The cops have no idea what they're about to unleash. And the crowd is about to witness something unforgettable. The air in the park has changed. What started as a casual afternoon walk has now turned into a charged standoff. The arrogant cops are growing restless, their impatience boiling over. Every movement the man makes is scrutinized, every glance interpreted as suspicious. The bystanders are holding their breath, sensing that the tension could explode at any moment. One of the officers, frustrated by the man's calm demeanor, takes a step closer. His hand hovers near his belt as if ready to assert physical authority. He shouts, the voice rising with irritation. The man doesn't flinch. He doesn't raise his voice. His calm gaze meets the officer's eyes, unshaken, unafraid. The crowd notices this, whispering among themselves, "Who is this guy? Why isn't he scared?" And then it happens. The moment that shocks everyone. One of the officers, blinded by arrogance, shoves the man aggressively. There's a gasp from the crowd, a sudden tension that grips the air like a vice. Phones are raised, capturing the shocking moment frame by frame. But instead of retaliating with anger, the man steps back smoothly, maintaining his balance. His movements precise and controlled. Every step he takes communicates confidence. The audience watching this video can almost feel it, the calm before the storm, the poise under pressure. It's not just about defending oneself, it's about the mastery of control. And viewers can't help but be mentally trapped, imagining what it would feel like to face such unprovoked aggression and remain unshaken. The cops, growing more and more enraged, start shouting, trying to intimidate him further. But the man doesn't respond with fear. His calm presence is disarming, almost hypnotic. It's as if the very air around him has changed. The arrogance of the officers is meeting an unmovable wall. The bystanders are leaning in, whispering, murmuring, some shaking, their heads in disbelief. If this happened to you, what would you do? Would you fight back, or would you stay calm like he is? Type fight or calm in the comments and let us know. The tension escalates further. One officer lunges forward, trying to assert control, but the man steps aside effortlessly, avoiding confrontation while maintaining dominance. His movements are fluid, precise, yet perfectly restrained. Every action a demonstration of skill and discipline. The crowd begins to murmur louder. He's not just any man. There's something different about him. Meanwhile, the family of the man, standing a few steps behind, watches nervously. Their worry is palpable. They sense the danger, but also see the incredible composure he maintains. The officers, unaware of the growing whispers in the crowd, are making a critical mistake. They have underestimated him completely. The audience is now emotionally invested. They feel fear, tension, admiration, and suspense all at once. They are trapped in the moment, waiting, anticipating, wondering what will happen next. Will he finally defend himself fully? Will the officers realize who they're confronting? And then the parting hook for part 3. Little do the cops know. They have no idea who they just pushed, and when the truth is revealed, the shock will be unforgettable. The camera pans over the crowd, phones recording, whispers spreading. The officers tense and confused. The audience watching the video is left on edge, mentally preparing for part 4. The recognition moment that will completely change the dynamic. The tension in the park has reached an almost unbearable level. The crowd surrounds the standoff, whispers and murmurs filling the air like electricity. Phones are raised everywhere, recording every second, capturing the drama in real time. The officers are frustrated, their confidence slipping with every calm, measured response from the man they tried to intimidate. Then, a voice cuts through the whispers. A single bystander, barely audible, says, "Wait, isn't that Bruce Lee?" The words ripple through the crowd like wildfire. Heads turn, gasps escape, and suddenly everyone is looking at him differently. Bruce Lee, the legendary martial artist, the man whose name alone strikes awe into millions worldwide, is standing there, completely composed, in the center of chaos. The crowd's tone shifts from tension to awe. Phones record not just a confrontation, but history in the making, but the cops remain oblivious. They continue their aggressive questioning, unaware of the true identity of the man before them. One officer steps closer, still confident, still thinking he's in control. "Who are you to just ignore us?" he snaps. The crowd begins whispering. Louder, some daring to speak up. "That's Bruce Lee, the martial arts legend." A few brave bystanders even call out from behind, trying to alert the officers, but their voices are drowned out by the chaos. The arrogance of the cops has blinded them. They think this is just another ordinary person. They have no idea the storm they've provoked. Meanwhile, Bruce remains calm, humble, almost serene. He doesn't flaunt his fame. He doesn't raise his voice. His eyes scan the officers, assessing, measuring. Every movement he makes is precise, calculated, yet perfectly restrained. There is no arrogance in his posture, only discipline, control, and a quiet authority that speaks louder than words. The audience watching this video is mentally hooked at this point. The contrast is mesmerizing. The arrogance of the cops versus the calm mastery of a living legend. Viewers can feel themselves pulled into the crowd, imagining the tension, the awe, the disbelief. They are trapped, emotionally curious, anxious, excited all at once. Some bystanders start whispering among themselves, "He's the greatest fighter alive." They don't even know who they're messing with. The cops, meanwhile, start to notice the shifting energy around them. The crowd is no longer just passive observers. They are now protective, alert, and increasingly vocal. The officers' confidence begins to waver, but it's too late. The seeds of embarrassment have already been planted. Bruce Lee's calm demeanor is magnetic. His silence speaks volumes, creating a mental trap for the audience. Viewers are now waiting, almost holding their breath, imagining what he will do next. They are emotionally invested, feeling the officer's frustration, the crowd's awe, and the anticipation of a legendary response. The cops still don't know the full truth, but very soon they will learn the hard way that this man's skill, calm, and discipline are unmatched. And when he finally acts, the world will witness something unforgettable. The tension in the park has reached a breaking point. The officers, frustrated and confused, are now visibly on edge. They glance around nervously, realizing that the whispers of the crowd are not just background noise, they are directed at the man standing calmly before them. The name Bruce Lee is now floating through the air, carried from one bystander to another. Yet the officers still refuse to acknowledge it. They are blinded by arrogance, convinced that physical intimidation and shouting will force compliance. Bruce Lee, however, remains completely composed. His posture is upright, steady, and unwavering. Every movement is controlled, precise, and deliberate. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't make sudden moves. Instead, he lets silence speak a silence so powerful that it begins to dominate the chaotic atmosphere. The crowd feels it instantly. Phones remain raised, capturing not just the confrontation, but the aura of authority radiating from a true legend. Then he speaks, calmly, evenly, but with a tone that carries undeniable authority. There is no reason to treat anyone with disrespect. Harassment and profiling do not prove authority, they reveal weakness. The crowd falls silent, hanging on his every word. The officers stiffen, realizing that their attempt to intimidate him is not working. Bruce's voice is not loud, but every word lands like a strike, precise, cutting, undeniable. The arrogance in the officer's demeanor begins to crumble. Every person watching this unfold, both in the crowd and on screens across the world, is mentally trapped, feeling the shift in power. Bruce continues. Strength is not in pushing people around. Strength is in control, discipline, and respect. I will not allow fear or aggression to dictate my actions. The officers' attempts to regain dominance falter. They step back, glance at each other nervously, realizing they have underestimated the man before them. Bruce Lee's calm, measured words have created an invisible force field mentally dominating the situation without a single physical strike. Bystanders can't help whispering, some openly calling out, "That's Bruce Lee, he's the greatest." Others nod in awe, recording every second. The energy of the crowd has shifted entirely. What was once fear and tension has transformed into admiration, respect, and anticipation. If you were standing here, watching someone turn fear and aggression into calm authority, what would you feel? Type fear, respect, or amazed in the comments. Right now, Bruce Lee's gaze remains fixed on the officers. He does not boast, he does not gloat, yet every movement exudes power. He steps slightly closer, not to threaten, but to demonstrate control. The cops begin to stumble over their words, trying to regain composure. The crowd, sensing the shift, grows louder in support, their voices amplifying Bruce's quiet dominance. At this point, the audience watching this video is fully invested. Mentally, they are leaning forward. Emotionally, they are riding the tension, anticipating what will happen next. The story has reached a critical turning point. The officers have been humbled, but the final revelation of Bruce Lee's identity is yet to fully hit them. The truth is about to be revealed in a way that will humiliate these arrogant cops and leave everyone watching completely stunned. The stage is perfectly set. The crowd is buzzing, the officers are confused and embarrassed, and the audience at home is trapped mentally and emotionally waiting for the moment when the legend finally claims his full presence. The air in the pavilion, the moment when the legend finally claims his full presence. The air in the legend finally claims his full presence. Park is electric. Bruce Lee's calm, commanding presence has already shifted the balance of power. The arrogant cops, once confident and aggressive, now stumble over their words, their bravado crumbling under the weight of his silent authority. But even they haven't fully grasped the truth yet. They still think they're confronting an ordinary man. Then a voice cuts through the tense silence. That's Bruce Lee, the martial arts legend. The words spread like wildfire. Whispers erupt into murmurs. Murmurs explode into excited chatter, and the crowd begins to buzz with energy. Phones are everywhere, recording every detail, the standoff, the shift in power, and the recognition that they're witnessing history unfold. People start pointing, nudging each other. Do you see him? That's Bruce Lee, the guy who redefined martial arts forever. The cops freeze, their faces shifting from confusion to disbelief. They glance at each other, finally realizing they've been confronting someone far beyond their expectations. Their confidence vanishes instantly, replaced by embarrassment, regret, and a faint glimmer of fear. The very air they tried to dominate is now charged against them. Meanwhile, Bruce Lee remains calm, almost serene. He doesn't raise his voice, he doesn't mock, he doesn't gloat. He lets his identity speak for itself. His discipline and control radiate outward, commanding respect not through intimidation, but through sheer presence. The audience watching this video is emotionally trapped at this moment. They feel awe, relief, excitement, and satisfaction all at once. Bystanders can't contain themselves. Some cheer loudly, applauding his courage and composure. Others shout reminders to the cops. You don't mess with Bruce Lee. The energy of the crowd has completely flipped. What began as fear and tension has transformed into celebration and admiration. The cops, now humiliated, tried to regain control, but it's futile. They have underestimated the legend they confronted. Have you ever witnessed someone stay completely calm under pressure and turn the situation around? Share your story in the comments right now. Bruce Lee steps forward slightly, not to assert dominance physically, but to deliver a message that leaves the crowd in awe. True strength is not shown through aggression. True power is calm, respect, and control. Humility always triumphs over arrogance. The crowd erupts. Phones capture the cheers, the applause, the stunned faces of the cops, and Bruce's composed, dignified expression. The audience at home, watching this unfold, can feel the emotional payoff. They've been trapped mentally by the tension, and now they're rewarded with awe and inspiration. The officers, humbled and exposed, step back, no longer aggressive. The crowd surrounds Bruce in admiration, capturing videos, taking photos, and celebrating his courage. Every bystander knows they've witnessed something unforgettable. The story of arrogance, meeting unmatched skill and calmness, has reached its climax. Even the media or local onlookers start sharing the incident online immediately. Clips of the confrontation go viral within hours, with millions praising Bruce for his dignity, restraint, and unmatched presence. The cops' failed attempt at intimidation becomes a cautionary tale, a lesson on respect, power, and humility. This encounter didn't just end in the park, it exploded online. Millions around the world are now witnessing the moment. Arrogance met a legend, and the lesson is unforgettable. The crowd continues to cheer, people are sharing their recordings, and Bruce Lee, calm as ever, uses the moment to demonstrate the power of discipline and integrity. The audience is mentally and emotionally hooked. They can't wait to see how this story spreads, and the ultimate lessons it leaves behind. By now, the park is buzzing with energy. Phones are raised everywhere, capturing the legendary confrontation. People are sharing clips on social media as quickly as they can, uploading videos to YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Within hours, the incident explodes online. Millions of viewers around the world are witnessing what the crowd in the park just lived through. Bruce Lee, calm and composed, standing up to arrogance and asserting his authority without ever losing control. The cops, once aggressive and overconfident, are now the subject of embarrassment. Videos show their faces, their hesitation, their disbelief. Social media comments flood in. People are calling out their arrogance, praising Bruce Lee's restraint, and marveling at the sheer mastery of calm and confidence. The tables have turned completely. The story of intimidation has become a story of humility, discipline, and justice. But the focus isn't on humiliation, it's on the lesson. Bruce Lee uses the moment not to gloat, but to teach the world something bigger. His calm composure, his unwavering control, and his disciplined response highlight an eternal truth. True strength is measured not by violence, but by restraint. Not by fear, but by respect. The audience watching this video is emotionally and mentally captivated. They've been trapped in suspense, tension, and awe, and now they are rewarded with inspiration and clarity. Bystanders continue recording, some calling friends, some sharing live streams, making the story spread faster than anyone could have imagined. News outlets pick it up. Headlines praising Bruce's courage and integrity flood websites, and millions more watch the incident unfold online. The cops face public scrutiny, disciplinary reviews, and a reminder that arrogance has consequences. Meanwhile, Bruce Lee's message about humility, respect, and self-control reaches a global audience, resonating across cultures, ages, and countries. If you believe no one should be judged by appearance or intimidated by arrogance, type legend in the comments right now. Share this video with friends who need to see how calm, discipline, and respect always win. The audience at home feels the emotional payoff. The tension from the first moments, the arrogant approach, the aggressive shoves, the calm standoff is resolved. They feel awe, inspiration, and a sense of justice. The mental trap that kept them on edge from Part 1 to Part 6 is finally released, leaving them with a lesson that lingers: courage under pressure, respect in the face of arrogance, and mastery over one's emotions are the ultimate form of power. Bruce Lee, ever composed, exits the scene with quiet dignity. The crowd applauds, the clips continue to circulate online, and the story becomes an unforgettable viral moment. People across the world are discussing it, debating it, and most importantly, learning from it. Arrogance meets a legend, and the world learns a lesson. If you believe calm, discipline, and respect always triumph over intimidation, type legend in the comments, share this video, and subscribe for more incredible stories that inspire and amaze. The incident is more than just a confrontation. It's a global lesson in restraint, courage, and dignity. And for the millions watching, the memory of this day, the calm, commanding presence of Bruce Lee, the humbled officers, and the cheering crowd will never fade.